Hello and welcome back to Football Daily. Whether it's previous form, raw ability or transfer hype, here's a list of top 10 underperforming players in the Premier League this season. 10. Mateo Kovacic. Jorginho has got his fair share of critics this season, deservedly so given he was about as useful as a chocolate teapot against Manchester City, but we feel that one of his colleagues has been fleeing the midfield crime scene far too often without any repercussions. Mateo Kovacic has been just as culpable with his 1.5 tackles and interceptions per 90 being the lowest in his league career to date. He is leaving Jorginho to hang out to dry in the centre of the park, especially given the 3-year-old Kante is being handed by Sarri. He has also failed to cement a place at Stamford Bridge, despite many of us at FD thinking Chelsea got a great loan deal through the door, only being involved in 2 goals in nearly 1,300 minutes. When Ross Barkley is starting ahead of you, you know you're having a bad season, especially when the inconsistent Englishman XG's contribution is almost double the Croatians. 9. Jordan Pickford. Short back and stomping his way into the list is Jordan Pickford. The 6'1" stopper with questionably tiny arms had a great World Cup, with his best performance coming against Colombia, saving 2 from the spot to break the Three Lions' 22-year penalty shootout losing streak in major tournaments. As a result, the 24-year-old was coming into the new season as one of the best keepers in the division, and with the limelight falling on record arrivals such as Kepa and Alisson, he wasn't afraid of critiquing the latter after the Brazilian's error against Leicester, claiming he wouldn't blunder like Alisson. 2 months later, his error led directly to a Divock Origi winner in the Merseyside derby. So far this season, Alisson's committed 2 errors leading to a goal, with a league-high 14 clean sheets, while Pickford's had 3 wobblies resulting in a goal, with Cardiff managing more clean sheets than Everton have. 8. Alexis Sanchez. Any half-knowledgeable Arsenal fan will have warned potential suitors of Alexis Sanchez about his severe downturn in form at the start of the 17-18 season. Demotivated by Chile not making the World Cup and a failed City move in the summer, Alexis was already on the decline when he was gifted around 400k per week by United. Playing just 478 minutes up until Mourinho's departure this season, there was renewed hope that maybe under manager Solskjaer, who's rejuvenated Martial, Pogba and Rashford by letting them express themselves on the pitch, that the Chilean would become good again. Wrong. He's still terrible. Constantly benched by the impressive Martial, he's failed to make an impact whenever he's called upon by the new manager. Summed up by his disaster class against PSG, where Sanchez attempted 0 shots, completed 0 dribbles and created 0 chances, his best performance in a year at the Theatre of Dreams was still as a pianist. 7. Theo Walcoff. From one Nino Maravella to another, both he and Alexis left Arsenal during the same transfer window, and it's a complete toss-up between them as to who's been the worst since leaving North London. Alexis with 9 goals and assists versus Walcott with 11. Harshly put, at least one of them had world-class ability once upon a time, and unfortunately for the English winger, it's not him. Despite a bright start to the season's league campaign with 3 goals and assists in his 3 games, Walcott's only managed to match those figures in the following 6 months, where he started 21 times and came on as a sub on 5 occasions. This isn't just down to the finishing fairies cursing Walcott either. With his 1.1 shots per game, the fewest amount he has had in over a decade. Hitting 30 in March, and with Bernard, Calvert-Lewin and Lookman all breathing down his neck, the Toffees will be lucky to recoup the majority of the £20 million they spent on him last January. 6. Kieran Trippier. We all missed the World Cup, the beer, the sunshine, the attempted front flip throw-ins. What a glorious couple of months. This might come across a bit harsh, but most Spurs fans are almost probably missing Kieran Trippier's form too. In spite of Harry Kane's World Cup Golden Boot, where he only scored against one decent side, it would have been argued that Trippier was England's standout man. The fullback was making 4.3 tackles and interceptions and 4 key passes per game. And most of all, he netted the free kick, which had most England fans believing it could actually happen. It didn't. And despite the World Cup being a small sample size, his numbers have gone down dramatically. Beating his man 4 times fewer and having a third of the average key passes he made in Russia, it seems Trippier's rise as one of Europe's best fullbacks has come to an abrupt end. This isn't to say that Trippier is having a bad season. Far from it. Only 4 other fullbacks are topping his attacking threat down the wing, but in contrast to a stellar summer, he's just another cog in Spurs' excellent machinery. 5. Ryan Sessegnon. The weight of expectation can be a downfall for any hot prospect. Some fall by the wayside like Freddie Adu, some amble on to have a decent career like Nani and Anelka, and some use the pressure to turn into diamonds like Cristiano, Messi and Neymar. Although it's unlikely that Sessegnon will ever reach the heights of those superstars, a 15-goal haul as a 17-year-old in the Championship highlights a huge amount of potential. But he is yet to hit his stride in England's top flight. In fact, since Ranieri took over at Fulham, Sessegnon has found himself on the bench in 7 of the Italians' first 11 games. It's not hard to see why either, as his shot numbers have dropped off from the red-hot streak from last year, whilst the youngster is only making 1.1 tackle and interceptions per game. It would have been safe to assume that he would relish a wing-back role in Ranieri's three-at-the-back system, yet he hasn't started a game since New Year's Day. This humbling at such a young age can turn into a positive for Sessegnon, who is still a huge talent and definitely one to keep an eye on next season, whether it's at Craven Cottage or after a move to another Premier League club. But with just 12 league games left, it looks like 18-19 just hasn't been his season. 4. Marcos Alonso. The highest scoring defender in the Premier League last season with 7, over double what Benteke managed in only 500 more minutes. It's safe to say that the goals aren't masking the clear defensive mishaps of Marcos Alonso this season. Netting just once and getting 3 assists so far this campaign, his failure to adapt to a more restrictive 4 at the back rather than a freer role as a wing-back is literally costing Chelsea goals. Chelsea fans may even get goosebumps with his horror performance against City, where he literally ran away from the ball to allow an easy cutback for Sterling's opener. Maurizio Sarri labelled the Spaniard as possibly the best fullback in Europe in early September. We're sure Chelsea fans are hoping his wife subbed out the usual 20 deck for a 20 bag before that presser. 3. Kelechi Iheanacho. Showing huge promise during his limited minutes at Manchester City, Kelechi Iheanacho forced our hands to include him on numerous scout reports and top 10s as one of the next big things in football. In hindsight, we probably shouldn't have bigged him up as much as we did. Despite a good end to his first year as a Leicester City player, 3 goals and 2 assists in the last 7 Premier League games, he's failed to build on this momentum, making just 9 starts in an injury-free campaign. Naturally, number 10, Iheanacho has been eased out of the side by £22 million signing James Maddison, and there's little chance of the Nigerian taking Vardy's place up top. In his 850 minutes of football this term, he's not done anything to justify a starting opportunity either, averaging just 1.5 shots and 1.2 chances created per 90 and the lowest XG of his career standing at 0.23. That £25 million investment by the Foxes seemed to only be depreciating with every appearance. 2. Wilfried Zaha. No one can deny Zaha's exceptional natural talent, a tricky player based with outstandingly quick feet and great physical attributes. The Croydon-raised winger has also matured massively since his disastrous stint at Old Trafford. Last season showcased a change, 11 goal contributions in 28 starts, leading Roy Hodgson's charge from the relegation spots to finishing firmly mid-table. All of this while retaining his exuberant side, averaging 4.1 dribbles per game, a figure only topped by Eden Hazard. This season, however, it hasn't exactly gone to plan for the Ivorian. Not only is he dribbling less, but he's shooting outside the box more, maybe due to frustration at the lack of attacking talent alongside him, with his XG almost halving from 0.34 to 0.14 per 90 this campaign. With just 1 more goal than Townsend and Jeff Slupp, hopefully Palace having a good striker up top for the first time in 3 seasons with Batshuayi can help rectify Zaha's form. 1. Naby Keita. Oh Naby, we had so much faith. You couldn't go a week on Football Daily without hearing Pato fawning over the Guinean midfielder when he was at RB Leipzig. Now whilst Naby Keita is struggling to break through into the Liverpool midfield, Pato is weeping gently into his framed picture of his favourite son. On a serious note, the £52 million man has only started 12 league games for the Reds so far, and as of yet, none of the numbers he was putting up in the Bundesliga have transitioned smoothly into England. 5.2 tackles and interceptions, 2.7 dribbles, 1.4 key passes, and a shot every other game from inside the box is pretty much the perfect central midfielder. His ability to break up play and drive the midfield to link up with the lethal front three, whilst having Fabinho and Hendo or Milner cover for him, seemed like a winning formula. Unfortunately, his 1.6 tackles and interceptions, 1 dribble and 0.3 chances created haven't warranted him a place in the side, with Ronaldo bettering all of those statistics bar the ability to drive forward. Only turning 24 in February, there's still plenty of time for Naby Keita to prove his worth at Anfield, and there might not be a better time to do so than in a title run-in. And after making 7 tackles against Bournemouth recently, he could be the difference maker come the end of the season. Thanks for watching. If you like that video, you know where to find us on FDFC, EFD or FD, and as always, like and subscribe.